much as they try to stick or they try to get President Mahama with all the bad things, it will never stick. Let me give you the first example. They said that President Mahama has used 10 million CDs to print presidential diary. That statement was made by Nanado himself. And he lied about it. Now in Ghana, they say when people lie, you can't say they are liars. You can only say that he lied. So let me say he lied about it. You are in power 7 years. You have not been able to show that President Mahama used 10 million CDs to print diaries. Today, you have given your daughter $10 million out of 34. So you were only saying and lying about the man only for you to come and give your daughter $10 million. Sometimes I pity the MPP communicators. You come and sit on TV every morning, bath. You'll be on social media. Sometimes they even give them 700 CDs. The president's daughter has $10 million. What do you have? Those foot soldiers following and defending blindly. What do they have? They said that, and led by Captain Smart and others, President Mahama had bought houses in Dubai with the taxpayers' money. Today, President Mahama has become a hero. Captain Smart and all those journalists, they lined up to lie about President Mahama. They have come out to say that they are sorry. They never knew this. In fact, Captain Smart said he went to Dubai and the address the MPP gave to them as the address of the alleged property, nothing existed there. They said that, you know what, President Mahama is so corrupt. Why? Because of a certain Airbus scandal. And today we are here. The OSP says that there is no evidentiary basis, and I wish we had time for me to take my time and tell viewers why we are where we are. You know, in this election, Ghanaians are presented with a candidate who is a nation builder as against a candidate who has run the country into bankruptcy. They say, oh, President Mahama's 120 billion debt from Nkrumah's time is so bad that, you know what, vote for us. We have 742. We are building a nation because we are bankrupt. I mean, where from this logic?
That's not what he said.
But what
that's
is
not what he said.
What did they
but
say?
Probably you are trying to say that's what it implies.
No, so what did they say? Me, I always want to be corrected.
Go ahead, continue.
Okay. You are leading, you have a candidate who their own OSP, this OSP is not a member of the NDC. He was appointed by Nanado, and he has come out to say that President Mahama is squeaky clean. It's by a sheer lack of coincidence. And so everything that the MPP will tell you about President Mahama and corruption, know that it is calculated to tarnish its image and to win more votes. You are talking about a man whose only crime was to love his nation. That when President Mahama got the opportunity, he did not give his daughters and sons $10 million. He did not use the money to build whole so that he will give an example. But like me and many others who have had the benefit of having surgeries at Ridge and UGMC, that is what he gave to his people. He did not do anything. He did not take money like we are seeing in the Pualugu Dam, led by Baumia. He took it and he built an airport, which the president has used than any other person in Ghana today. That is the man we are talking about. So I want people to know that this OSP report clearly shows that President Mahama is that leader who is not a liar. And on the campaign, one thing he's been saying, that I promise to be honest with you, my people. And he was honest during his presidency. They've tried, you know, when Dr. Baumia started lying and we started pointing out the lies, they've tried several times to look for President Mahama's whatever to see that he's a liar. President Mahama is not a liar. He's not corrupt, and certainly not one to say things just to win the vote. He's in to build our nation, and I think that that is the most important thing. But having said that, and you know that many people ask, but how the President Mahama even became involved with this Airbus scandal. What had happened was that in August 2008, and please, who was president in August 2008? Oh, and your history is bad. President Kufuor was president in
I'm
August
looking at you.
2008. The Ghana Armed Forces Council made a decision to replace what they call their Fokker F-27 medium lift aircraft. And they said that they were going to replace their old aircraft with another aircraft called the C-2J7 Spartan aircraft. And then they agreed that they were going to get this aircraft from the American government, either with grant or loan. After negotiation and back and forth, the Ghana Armed Forces realized that by the time the American people would deliver the aircraft, the price would have gone higher, and the time of delivery was also 2012, which, I mean, would have posed a challenge to them. So they changed their decision. And please listen to this part carefully, and I want viewers to travel with me carefully on this part. So the Ghana Armed Forces, even without President John Mahama not being a vice president, decided that they were now going to buy another aircraft which served a similar purpose, called the CASA 295.
This was in 2012.
This was in 2008.
Oh, 2008, okay.
When President Mahama was not vice president.
Okay.
So they made this decision to buy CASA 295 aircraft. Now this CASA 295 aircraft is sold by the company called Airbus. Because you know there are two leading producers of aircraft, the Boeing and then the Airbus. So it happened that it is Airbus that can supply. And at the time of this decision, President Mahama's brother called Samuel Mahama, or Adam Mahama, was already working with Airbus in Uganda, in Kenya, in many other African countries. And so that is why the OSP described it as by a sheer luckless coincidence. Because if not because of the decision of the Ghana Armed Forces Council to buy the CASA 295, they were never going to go to Airbus. If they had gone with their affairs, at the time President Mahama was nowhere. Then President Mahama became vice president. And even that, he did not go poking his nose into the purchase. By reason and operation of law, he became the chairman of the Ghana Armed Forces Council, just like the Ghana Police Council.
As vice president.
As vice president. And so, they proceeded with their purchase. Now, when Airbus even became aware that their agent who was already working in Kenya and Uganda and all the other African countries.
As in 2008.
Yes, by the time they concluded.
Yeah, they concluded a contract.
He was the brother of President Mahama. They terminated the agency agreement. So the OSP said here that by reason of this, Mr. Samuel Foster suffered unduly, merely because your brother was the vice president. We have terminated the agency agreement. And then they assigned a subsidiary of their company to deal with the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, Airbus was being investigated for some breaches of international law in countries like China, Malaysia, Taiwan, Kenya, Ghana, and other things. Now, what Airbus did was that they didn't want to go through criminal prosecutions. So, en bloc, they just admitted liability, that whatever the UK court says, we want to pay fine, we don't want to go into the matter.
Yeah.
Then there was what we call either the consent judgment or the prosecution deferred agreement, which is when I say PDA, that's what it means. So they agreed that Airbus will pay this. Now, a judgment was delivered on 31st January without even the UK authorities investigating President Mahama, Samuel Foster, or any of those companies in other countries for reasons they best gave. Some people said that in some of the countries, death penalty was the result. I mean, death was a penalty for corruption-related offenses. So they just, admitted liability, and then they gave a consent judgment. Now notice that the judgment was delivered on 31st of January 2020. And by 2nd February, the president himself, as a complainant, had written to the office of the special prosecutor to investigate this. Why? They were under the illusion, imagination, hallucination, whatever nation you will find, put it there, that because there has been government official one mentioned, as a matter of fact or law, somebody may have taken bribe. And so they nicely appointed Martin Amidu, thinking that he had issues with the NDC, and so would just come and lie his way. At a point, Martin Amidu even said the president was putting pressure on him to bring a decision on the Airbus scandal because they wanted only one decision to prosecute President Mahama. And so the letter was sent. The OSP has conducted its investigation, and the results are that President Mahama is squeaky clean. There is no evidence that he either intended or did indeed receive anything to influence the purchase of the Airbus. Now, having said that, let me say that on this note, I want to applaud President Nana Addo. For the first time, I want to applaud him for the precedent he has set, that the president himself is a complainant. And he has also subjected President Mahama to investigations. And you know what? President Mahama has immunity. He cannot be prosecuted for any crime in Ghana. So he had every right, constitutional or legal, to say that I will not subject myself to investigation. Because whatever your findings are, you cannot even do anything to me. But the OSP, from paragraph 6.0, copiously mentioned the investigations and the statements of President Mahama and all other things he did. What it means is that presidents, their advice, assigns, privies, howsoever described, will be subjected to a beautiful precedent. We, the lawyers, we love precedent. And you see, when President Mahama was undergoing the investigations at the office of the OSP, he did not organize NDC people to hit the street for political witch hunting or persecution. He knew he was clean. He knew he hadn't taken any bribe, just like he has been investigated. So we will beg our friends in the NPP, when it is their time, they should not organize anybody to hit the street, because we have, worked with their precedent. But if you are watching me this morning and you are a young person, the outcome of the OSP investigation should tell you that it matters who you choose as a leader. That today, the reason Ghana cannot benefit from a $5 million facility from the U.S. government is because Peter Amewu said Dr. Bawumia fraudulently presided over a meeting that changed the PDS, requirement from bank guarantee to insurance guarantee, and subsequently made it a condition subsequent instead of a condition precedent. And so we have lost that amount of money, which could have helped us in the energy sector. Kufuor started, President Mills continued, President Mahama continued. It is only under this government that we lost that. And so you should know that it matters that you must choose a person who is honest, because you cannot have a leader who lies and says that I will do otherwise. How else are you to take what he says now from what he has said in the past? And so we in the NDC are happy. We in the NDC, this tells you that we are presenting to Ghanaians a candidate who is clean, who the OSP has found no evidence of wrongdoing and disregard any propaganda of the MPP. At least they appointed the OSP themselves.